Welcome to our Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for the weekend of July 11th, 12th, and 13th, 2014. I am astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, I am putting my July webinar half off. It's on sale this weekend. Check it out at inclusiveastrology.com if you want to get the whole spread of July and go deep into all these cycles that are shifting here. Definitely check it out. And we are coming into a full moon this weekend in Capricorn. Ba-ba-da-bum. A big earth sign. Capricorn, wanting to go to the top of the mountain. Our destiny, our goals, our ambitions, and more importantly, we have Pluto over here that the full moon's going to come over. Woo! Pluto, the power of intensity, change. This is also in the sign of traditions. The traditions are changing. Pluto in Capricorn is killing off all of the systems that we've been engaged in, the rules and all these old kind of Capricorn ways. Capricorn does rule old age. It also does rule the bones, and it does rule canes. Just kidding. But it really, maybe I'm not. But opposite of that is the Sun in Cancer with Jupiter hanging out. So we've got the Sun and Jupiter, the two biggest entities in our space environment, right? The Sun's the biggest thing in the universe. It's a huge star. We got Jupiter, and they're getting close as they're opposing the Moon and the smallest planet, Pluto. Wow. Talk about a huge opposition here. But both are in a nice fighting power. Because when you mix the Moon and Pluto, these are kind of like, this is kind of like Coke versus Pepsi. Our comfort zones, our energy of where we're rooting our life, our feelings, and where we cut off emotion and if we're on the trail or not. This has to do with comfort and camping. Another way to look at it. And really it's about our destiny in our life as we're being pulled into seeing if we're on the right roads. This weekend will definitely test you. Do you feel like you're on the right path? Do you feel like you're doing the work in your life? This is also where it tests to make sure if you feel successful or not. This can be where, oh my gosh, I'm not feeling successful at all, or oh my gosh, I feel empowered. This is going to highlight it really powerfully. But also this weekend, the Sun in Cancer is going to highlight what comfort zones are we willing to change and grow into to allow the success in our life to come into fruition. I have been doing a lot of readings and everything has been coming down to this. Risk. Risk for the reward. The reward is comfort when you get what you want in your life of success. But there's a lot of energy around wanting to be really comfortable before success happens, and that just doesn't work with Pluto and Capricorn. Capricorn is a sign that is about reaching the top of the mountain no matter what comfort zone can't make it. I always use this analogy, but you can't bring Betty Crocker and all of the cooking supplies up on the trail. It's impossible. You've got to go kind of eat a twig, or you've got to go, you know, kind of kill a rabbit and eat it. That's what happens on the trail. And the universe is giving us everything as Neptune and all this beautiful energy right now in the astrology, Saturn, are supporting Pluto. So the trail and our destiny is supported in this kind of kite configuration with, as long as you're going on the trail, as long as you're going for your success, you'll make it. But the Sun and Jupiter did not conjunct and will not conjunct in Cancer this year or last year or since 12 years ago, and it won't happen for another 12 years. So the truth is even though we're so used to watching to see Coke win, this is kind of a weird energy where we're seeing Pepsi win, where it really is about a different point of view in our life. This also is highlighting your traditions. Maybe you're playing it so traditional and so old school that you're not able to win. I know that might sound crazy, but if we look at the astrology, there's a huge T-square, two of them forming. We've got the one with the Sun squaring Mars and squaring Uranus. This is really highlighting our comfort zones and the actions we're taking, the revolutions, the freedoms we're willing to take in action and strength in our connections. This is also a weekend where Mars in the North Node will conjunct. So this is going to highlight your ambitions, again, your ability to take action and the connections you're making in your life and whether or not you have emotions that you're holding on to. What are you, I like to say, hoarding as well, because Cancer to me is the place where we can hoard as well emotions and safeties and hold on to all these things. Yes, the energy is in Cancer, and I think it's important for comfort to come first, but it's more like, is the comfort happening in the right place or not? It's interesting because this weekend on Sunday, Mercury comes into Cancer, it comes out of Gemini, and we become very clear on our emotions. And I think after a weekend of seeing if whether or not we're on the path, success, destiny or not, it does affect our feelings. It does affect where we're rooting ourselves in our life. On top of it, we've got the moon that comes into Aquarius, which wants to free itself and become free and step into this electricity. So the truth is this weekend is going to be a whole big shifting point, especially because next week we got Jupiter coming into Leo. We've got all this energy which is going to be shifting as the sun will come into Leo soon. We've got Mars ready to leave Libra finally, and Mars is getting up at big speed this weekend, and this all comes to this huge culmination point this weekend of destiny and fate and whether or not you're truly in it or not, and it will give you a clear as a bell signal. Trust me on this one. Whew. And what I was saying with the pressure and the T-squares is just risk, baby. I hate to say it. No matter how much comfort we could try and have in our life, you're going to have to take a risk. Whether it's a risk of comfort somewhere, maybe it's a risk of maybe moving, maybe it's a risk of using your money, maybe it's a risk of leaving a relationship, maybe it's a risk of getting into a relationship. Saturn and Scorpio is looking deep for that truth, and it is heavily supported. And Saturn and Uranus are in this big, powerful conjunction. We've been talking about this for weeks now, that there's adjustments needing to be made, and we really need to do some wild things to get to our truth, but we also need to plan off this truth to find new radical ways to step into what we want. And unfortunately, it will be highlighted this weekend very, very powerfully, because we are about to shift gears here in the next 2 weeks so powerfully for the whole year you will just trip your balls. I don't know how I just said that, but I just said it. You're gonna trip out. And get ready, because this is going to be some serious stuff here. And full moon in Capricorn means serious business. Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to fire things? A Capricorn has no problem firing somebody because the business will fall, and they have no problem going to lunch. A Cancer, not so easy. We need to learn to do both sides. Yes, I agree, comfort's important, and safety and emotions and doing what feels right for you. But if you're not listening to the equation of what the work is to do, where the destiny's going, then you're never going to get anywhere. The card of the weekend is the Three of Cups reversed. Ooh! Vacations, parties, celebrations cannot be had when you are not on the path. It's not that easy to go to a party when you're living at mom's house, you got no job, you got no money, you don't have much physical, and even though you're going to the party, you feel that energy of like, wow, I don't have this, or God, I don't have money to pay for this, or oh, this. That kind of energy can come around in our lives and in any multiple different dimensions and ways if you're not really living in your truth and you're really not living in your destiny and you're really not putting the work in to go there. And it's going to be highlighted very, 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 very powerfully this weekend. I can't describe it any better. And I hope you're ready, because next week Jupiter comes into Leo and Mercury comes over the shadow period and things really kick off, and we're getting ready for a big, big Leo transit. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Leo, but because it's the truth. And all this is setting you up because are you ready to live in your heart? Are you ready to live in your happiness? If you're not willing to do the work, if you're not really ready to move on the yellow brick road towards the path and go towards Emerald City, and even though it's scary and you have no friends, and be willing to pick up all the clues on the way there, you will not make it there, and your happiness will be stuck when the house and the tornado has hit. And just because it's so comfortable, because you know the house, even though it's upside down, will make you really start to think, am I really in the right place? Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions or if you want to have a one-on-one reading. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I will see you on Monday.